I'm co-founder of Safe Places for Women.
Michelle and I were both working at a church in Lexington, Kentucky. A couple of people had come into the church and they were looking for some help. Both of the women had the night before been working in one of the clubs. One of them was 8 months pregnant and she'd been dancing in the club the night before. And both sisters said, we want to stop doing what we're doing and we're looking for help and we need a place to go to do that. And at that time as a church, the only option that we had was an overnight stay somewhere, like at a local motel, and 2 meals at Hardee's. While that was going on, there was someone at our church who, her story was that God had radically saved her out of the clubs, and so she had started a ministry to go back into the club.
That night, I went into another club, and I remember going in that night holding a 9x13 pan of lasagna. All I could see in the darkness of it all were words on women's foreheads like broken, lonely, help. And I saw all these words on women's forehead holding this lasagna, and my heart broke. And that was 20-some years ago, and it still draws tears. And but it was 20 years ago that we had both had these paralleled experiences. And so the Lord started to really align our heart and passion. Yeah. And so that really opened the door for what came next. Prior to us joining staff at our church in Lexington, Kentucky, we actually went and served at a men's home. Men would come together, incarcerated men with addiction and recovery, for a 24/7 community, healing, beginning again, learning skills, job readiness. And we started to see this model that we had no idea existed.
That then really led into what we've been doing now for our first home opened in 2010. And so even from that experience, it was our best friends had bought a 50-acre farm in Kentucky. God, there was just this pulling on my heart of ask him if he'd be willing to use that land to bring women who needed a place to go, to get away, to be safe, to start the healing process. And he looked at me and he said, "You're not going to believe this." But he said, "This morning I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I've never heard the voice of God more clearly than I did this morning." And he said, "The Lord literally told me that's not your land that you just bought, but I'm going to do a ministry on that land." And so we ended up renovating that old farmhouse, and that became the very first home that we opened up in 2010. And now the home that we're running here in Denver is our 12th home that we've opened up, and in the eighth state. And then later this year we'll be opening up in Miami, Florida. That'll be the 9th state.
When you think about the vastness of trafficking, you also have to envision the vastness of services provided and the ways that we can all link up together to serve in our unique lanes. And so really our heart to partner with others in what we call the continuum of care. And we partner with a phenomenal organization called Rescue America and their 24/7 rescue hotline. And that's a huge relationship we have in receiving survivors from their hotline.
We started a new program here in Denver doing outreach. Right now we have 80 volunteers from local churches here in Denver. We go out to the track 4 nights a week, and we're praying with them. We're handing them outreach bags. There's a rescue number in there, and building relationships out on the street. And so all of a sudden that's given me a vision of just like, hey, if you want to be hands-on and you want to like really see what's going on and you want to get up close and actually interact and get names and pray and really make plant a seed with people, there's opportunities to do that. And so that's something that I think is going to keep growing. I'll tell, we were just at a gala event in Madison, Wisconsin. Michelle and I were the speakers at this event, and I was going through some photos, and I saw Devin and her daughter Gwenna standing at the door of our very first home, that old farmhouse, in 2012. And Devin just happened to, through some circumstances, reached out last week, right when she didn't even know I was going to tell the story at the gala. And now Devin and Gwenna is 16 years old, and Devin has now for the last year been actually working for another organization who's working with survivors of trafficking at the exact same location that she came to get help is where she's been working. to say that we're like beyond proud of Devin and the journey that she's been on, it's those kind of stories that just, it's fuel. It's fuel to say, let's keep going. You know, it's been 20 years. Let's do another 20.
Yeah. Phew. As I look back, it's such an honor to be able to release and extend love. And we have just felt this call. And it's not just a call that we have said yes to, it's a call that so many have said yes to. And what I would say to somebody is, what's your something for someone? And how do you steward it to have great impact? That's what I would say.
It's beautiful.
According to ancient Chinese